Time likes to race, even when no one asks it to. Under a calm moon, two old ideas lace their shoes. One fast, one faithful, both sure tomorrow belong to them.
The fastest way to lose is to believe you've already won.
The hare tapped his foot like a snare, impatient for applause. Watch me turn distance into rumor, he grinned. The tortoise checked the road the way a craftsman checks a level. Rumor travels quickly, he said, but truth finishes. Neighbors gathered, field mice on fence rails, sparrows on the wire. A fox pretending to yawn like a gentleman with nothing at stake. The flag fell, the dust learned to speak in exclamation points. Speed is a headline that sells out before noon. Patience is the paper they wrap the morning in. Steady hand, steady heart. Some gates open only for those who walk. Every pause writes a chapter the rushers never read. The hare launched like a promise he'd forget to keep. He became an echo of himself, far ahead, louder than necessary. Behind him, the tortoise kept time with his own pulse. Each step a signature that could not be forged. He passed a milestone carved by seasons, not by bragging. A beetle nodded like an old coach. Form looks good, keep breathing. The tortoise did not answer, the work was answering for him. Rest is holy when you earn it, ruinous when you declare it early. Steady hands, steady heart. Some gates open only for those who walk. Every pause writes a chapter the rushers never read. Ahead the hare found a tree that made shade like an argument. Victory should taste fresh, he said. Let it cool while I nap. He stretched long like a ribbon tossed on wind and slept the way confidence sleeps too deeply. Sleep took him traveling, he dreamed a finish line with silver cups and a choir of grass. In the dream he bowed to himself twice, and the road applauded on cue. The tortoise came by with the sound of a small, reliable clock. He tipped his head because courtesy is a muscle and walked on without borrowing any noise. He remembered other roads with no cheering section, work done behind doors, tasks no one saw, days when progress meant not quitting before evening. Discipline is patience that put on boots. Confidence is humility that learned rhythm. Slow beats sure when sure is slow enough. Let the sprinters on the thunder. I will take the distance that still needs walking. Back at the tree, a leaf landed like a verdict on the hare's ear. He woke to find time out of courtesy and into law. He ran Yes, beautifully, astonishingly, but beauty is late when judgment keeps the clock. He flashed past landmarks he barely remembered passing. Even the wind refused to move out of his way. A hawk wrote a thin comment across the sky. Some lessons require witnesses. At the finish, dust settled like manners, returning to a room. The tortoise crossed without ceremony, as if arriving were simply the next honest thing to do. When the hare arrived, he met a silence that knew his name. He laughed bitter than better, because truth had better posture than pride. Congratulations, he said, and meant it enough to stand still. Friend, said the tortoise, speed is a fine horse if you keep a hand on the reins. Friend, said the hare, I've learned to read the map, not only the clock. They walked back together through late light that forgives. Children traced their names in the road dust. Someone's radio practiced a melody about time. Pace your dream like a meal worth tasting. Arrive hungry for meaning, not applause. Win with miles you can account for. Lose like a student who paid attention. Either way, wait those steps you'll breathe with the pots and you in turn to be. Not Cain with his bluff verkeuert. The crab ran home to Deschens und Steuers. The gute Mellemins drank up the trays of Sieg. The somewhat Beattle get storken for anyone to speak. Sangres tongue. Somewhat put a rap without hurry in the last sensation in Zeta. When it for the rest of us to catch up.